Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Super Sports Central. Today, we're going to go over my Week 6 NFL predictions. So last week, I had a record of 10-4, and that brings my record on the season to 51-27. Kicking things off this week on Thursday Night Football, we've got the Broncos visiting the Chiefs. This is a game that should not be close. The Chiefs have owned the Broncos recently as they've won 15 straight against the Broncos. Now, the Broncos are terrible this season, specifically defensively, as they allow 450 yards a game and 36.2 points per game. Both those stats are worse than the NFL. And now they have to face Patrick Mahomes in the Chiefs' offense. So it is going to be a nightmare for the Broncos this week. The Chiefs might be without Travis Kelce as he's dealing with an ankle injury and is listed as questionable. But with or without Kelce, the Chiefs will dominate this game and win by a score of 35-14. Moving on, we've got the Ravens against the Titans in London. So both teams were bad last week and now have to travel to London. Derrick Henry has gotten off to a very slow start this season for the Titans as he's averaging just 3.8 yards a carry. And that is bad news for the Titans because they face a great Ravens run defense that allows just 91 rushing yards per game. And the Titans also already can't throw the football as they have the 5th worst passing offense in the NFL with just 187 passing yards per game. Now, I don't think the Titans will do much offensively, but speaking of the offense, the Ravens offense needs a bounce-back game after a terrible showing last week against the Steelers. But even if the Ravens offense is bad once again, they're not going to need many points to beat the Titans offense, which I think will be really bad this week. And the Ravens get the win in London by a score of 21-10. Next game, we got the Commanders visiting the Falcons. So the Commanders got off to a good start this season, but it has been all downhill after week 2. They're now coming off a game where they got destroyed by the Bears on Thursday Night Football. And the Commanders, despite having a great defensive line, they don't have a very good run defense. They allow 133.6 rushing yards a game, which plays right into what the Falcons want to do offensively and run the football. Desmond Ridder also looked decent last week for the Falcons, and he looked good on their game-winning drive, and maybe that's the start of good things to come for Ridder and the Falcons' passing offense. But I've got the Falcons with the win here, as they beat the Commanders. They're able to run the football effectively, and Desmond Ridder is okay. And the Falcons hand the Commanders their 4th consecutive loss, and win this game by a score of 24-20. Next game, we got the Bears hosting the Vikings. So the Bears looked great last week in their win over the Commanders. Justin Fields and DJ Moore finally got going, and that is now back-to-back really good games for Justin Fields, as in his last 2 games, Fields has thrown for a combined 617 yards, which is more yards than he threw for in his first 3 games combined. And in his last 2 games, Justin Fields has also thrown 8 combined touchdowns to just 1 pick. Now, the Vikings' pass defense isn't great, so there could be another good game for Justin Fields coming up this week. The Vikings are going to be without Justin Jefferson, who is placed on the injury reserve with a hamstring injury, so things are definitely looking like the Bears could potentially get another win this week. But I think the Vikings are going to find a way to get the win. I trust Kirk Cousins more than I trust Justin Fields, and Kirk Cousins will have all day to sit in the pocket because the Bears have no pass rush, and he's going to be able to pick apart a Bears pass defense that is terrible, and the Vikings get the win here by a score of 34-20. Next game, we got the Bengals hosting the Seahawks. So this is a game that could definitely go either way. The Seahawks are coming off a bye, and the Bengals are coming off a much-needed win over the Cardinals, where they finally found their stride offensively, and Joe Burrow looked healthy. Now, this isn't a great matchup for the Seahawks, especially with the Bengals offense clicking. The Seahawks defense allows 280 passing yards per game, which is 3rd worst in the NFL. I think Joe Burrow has another big game here, and the Bengals get another win and get back up to 500 on the season, and the Bengals win this one by a score of 27-24. This is a game that could definitely go either way. Next game, we got the 49ers visiting the Browns. So the Browns are coming off a bye, but even with the extra rest, Myles Garrett and Deshaun Watson are still battling injuries. Now, Watson didn't play against the Ravens before the bye, and now if he's out this week, that will be P.J. Walker starting at quarterback for the Browns. Now, the Browns defense is very good. In fact, they're the 2nd best scoring defense in the NFL. But the 49ers offense is slept on with how good they are. They just put up 42 points on a really good Cowboys defense, and they're averaging 33 points per game. I think the 49ers are just too good on both sides of the ball here, and they will stay undefeated with the win. 31-16 if Deshaun Watson plays, 31-6 if he doesn't play. Up next, we got the Dolphins hosting the Panthers. This game should not be close. The Dolphins are the best offense in the NFL, averaging 36 points a game, and they're on a historically good pace, as they have the most yards ever in the first 5 games of the season. Now, the Dolphins will be without rookie running back Devon Achane, who suffered a knee injury and is out for a few weeks, but they still have Raheem Mostert at running back, and obviously their passing attack is insane. The Panthers' defense has struggled this season, and they're coming off a game where they allowed 42 points a game. Plus, offensively, they will not be able to protect Bryce Young against a good Dolphins pass rush. The Dolphins will win this game easily and get a dominant win by a score of 38-13. Next game, we got the Colts visiting the Jaguars. So the Colts will be without Anthony Richardson as he suffered a shoulder injury in the win last week. And that means former Jaguars quarterback Gardner Minshew will be starting this week for the Colts. This is already the 2nd time these 2 teams will be playing each other, as they faced off in week 1 when the Jaguars got the win. This one is in Jacksonville, a place the Colts have not won since 2014. The Colts are going to try to run the football with Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor, especially with them being without their starting quarterback. But the Jaguars have a very good run defense, allowing just 81 rushing yards per game. And I think the Jaguars get the win here by a score of 28-17. Next game, we got the Saints at the Texans. So this is a pretty tough game to predict. The Saints are coming off a dominant win over the Patriots, and the Texans lost a close win to the Falcons. CJ Stroud has been great for the Texans, but he faces a very tough test as the Saints have a great defense and also the fourth best pass defense in the NFL, allowing only 183 passing yards per game. And this is a game I could truly see going either way. I'm going to take the Saints with the win because of their defense, but this is one of the hardest games to predict. This week, Saints win this one by a score of 21-13. Up next, we got the Patriots visiting the Raiders. So this is a revenge game for a lot of Raiders, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jacoby Myers, and obviously head coach Josh McDaniels. The Patriots have been terrible over the past 2 weeks. They have been outscored 72-3, which includes a 34-0 loss last week, which is the worst home loss of Bill Belichick's career. Now, the Patriots could get a bounce-back win here, as they desperately need a win, but they've been terrible in their last 2 weeks, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the Raiders. I don't think either team is all that good. I have a hard time thinking a Bill Belichick coach team is going to be terrible, but with how they've looked the past 2 weeks, I have no reason to think they're not terrible right now, and I've got the Raiders getting the win narrowly by a score of 21-20. Up next, we got the Cardinals at the Rams. So the Cardinals are coming off a bad loss to the Bengals, where they were shredded through the air. They also are allowing 251 passing yards per game, which is 7th worst in the NFL. And that is not a good matchup, as they face a Rams offense that is obviously Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and rookie Puka Nacua. Now, the Cardinals offensively will rely a lot on Josh Dobbs, as running back James Conner is out due to a knee injury. And I just don't really trust Josh Dobbs all that much. And I think the Rams are the better team here. Matthew Stafford has a big game, and the Rams win this one by a score of 27-17. Moving on, we've got the Jets hosting the Eagles. So the Jets have been pretty good over the past 2 weeks, playing a good game against the Chiefs despite losing, and also beating the Broncos last week. The Jets' offense probably won't have much success against a good Eagles defense. Now, the Jets have had a pretty good run game, but they face the best run defense in the NFL, as the Eagles allow just 61 rushing yards per game. Now, the Jets' defense will have a tough task stopping the Eagles' offense that have a ton of playmakers on it. But the Jets' defense has been able to slow down every other offense, so maybe they're able to stop the Eagles as well. But in the end, I think the Eagles are just the better team here, and I think they're going to sneak out with the close win. I don't think it will be pretty for the Eagles, but I think they're going to get the win by a score of 20-13. I think the Jets make this one interesting, but the Eagles remain undefeated and sneak out with the win. Next game, we got the Buccaneers hosting the Lions. So this is a big game for both teams, and a tough game to predict. The Buccaneers are coming off a bye, meanwhile the Lions are coming off a dominant victory over the Panthers. The Lions' offense is great, but the Buccaneers' defense has also been pretty good so far this year. The Lions' offense will be getting a boost as they will be getting Amon-Ra St. Brown back from injury. Now, the Buccaneers have been sneaky good so far, as they currently sit at 3-1. This is a game I could truly see going either way. I think the Lions' offense is better, and I think they're going to lead them to the win. But this game is going to come down to the wire, maybe come down to a last-second field goal, something like that. But the Lions win this one by a score of 27-24. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, we've got the Bills hosting the Giants. So we have a live watch party for this game, started about 8:15 Eastern Time on Sunday. This game is likely going to be a blowout. The Giants are very banged up, as Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Andrew Thomas, John Michael Schmitz, and Darren Waller are all dealing with injuries. The Giants' offensive line is the worst in the NFL, as they have allowed a league-high 30 sacks, so the Bills will be able to get constant pressure on whoever is at quarterback, whether it's Daniel Jones if he plays, or the former Bill quarterback Tyrod Taylor. Now, the Bills offensively will have a field day against a bad Giant defense, and they need a much-needed bounce-back offensive performance after a bad game in London, but the Bills get their much-needed bounce-back game, and they win this game easily, winning by a score of 38-10. And our final game, it is Monday Night Football. It is the Cowboys visiting the Chargers. So we will also have a live watch party for this game, started by 8:10 Eastern Time on Monday, so I hope to see you guys there. The Cowboys are in need of a bounce-back performance after getting demolished by the 49ers last week. Meanwhile, the Chargers are coming off a bye, and they should be getting running back Austin Eckler back from injury. This is also a revenge game for Chargers offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. This is going to be a fun game. I have a feeling a lot of points will be scored. Even though the Cowboys have a very good defense, I think the Chargers will not have a problem scoring points. But I've got the Cowboys with the win here because I don't trust Brandon Staley and the Chargers to hold a lead. And I've got the Cowboys getting a much-needed bounce-back win, winning by a score of 28-24. But this is a game that could definitely go either way. But those are my Week 6 NFL predictions. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn on notifications. I do my best to post as often as possible. Make sure to check out the community tab of my channel where you can vote on who you think will win some of this week's big games. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn on notifications. I do my best to post as often as possible, and I'll see you in the next video.